Chuck took a loss today, but he has a winning card. Does he know how to play it?
Welcome back to Structure. I'm H. This is
What
E.
up, what up?
And this is going to be our review of Billion Season 6, Episode 7, The Punch.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Episode 7 was pretty good. It looks like Mike Prince beat Chuck to the punch.
That's right.
Seems like he was won. He got the Olympic Committee to agree to hold the 2028 Olympics in New York City.
That's right.
He may have his wife in the bag, his ex-wife, but
Maybe.
but not everything is perfect. She's demanding more from him, and Chuck has some other plans to bring everything down.
Yeah, like we said in the intro, Chuck got defeated this round, but the war is not over, and he has a thread that he might be able to pull on and actually make the whole thing come apart. Because as I said, the best thing is winning the Olympics, but the worst thing is having it pulled away from you. So let's see what Chuck's next move is. Overall, what were your thoughts on Mike Prince's moves today?
You know, I'll be honest, I was very surprised how everything turned out this episode because last episode,
Yeah.
Chuck had a major W, and all of a sudden, it
looked
seems
really
like that
bad.
didn't matter.
Yeah.
Mike had one move to make, that worked for him. He got it done. So we see that we have a more confident Kate or a more careful Kate as well.
Yes.
Kate coming in from having
Played a
her
huge
first
part.
major loss that she was willing to quit. She was throwing the towel. She
Yeah.
was done. Now she's double checking everything. She's bringing to Mike, hey, watch out with the scholarships. She's double checking everything because she knows Chuck's gonna go for it. So they're over preparing this time around. Maybe that's led to their victory, but there are still some loose ends in regards that Chuck may have some other plans in mind.
Yeah, like you said, Kate said it herself. She's using her Chuck goggles on everything. She's going behind every move that they make to make sure that it passes the test and doesn't raise the alarm of Chuck, which we saw that he was going to go after a few things, but Kate was able to get ahead of it and actually squash it before it became an issue. That enabled Mike, not necessarily gave him the win, but that enabled him not to stumble in order to get the win. Who's a big hero in this episode is Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor stepped up big time. It seems that, a few episodes back, our idea was that maybe she's trying to pull out some kind of move to go against Mike, but
Yeah,
she's blending in very well, or
Uh-huh.
she's playing possum until she has enough power to take maybe the shortest route for her to get her goals is to
Exactly.
take Mike Prince's money. Not take him down, take his money.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, she definitely played a huge part in this episode. The way that she sort of went behind Mike Prince's back and actually devalued the bonds, which was the biggest holdup in order for the city to embrace Mike Prince's giving.
They
or
were left
whatever,
with no
his
choice.
contribution. Exactly. They were left with no choice, and they had to comply with his new metro station endeavor, or not station, but his new metro system
Proposal, yeah.
endeavor. Yeah. So that was what made everything come together. That was the glue that put everything together, really.
Certainly. Now, not everything is perfect also in Chuck's camp because we're starting to see cracks in the relationship that Chuck has with Dave, his new number 2.
Yes.
Because she's not going along with everything and she's very much by the book because she's not like, why are you going the extra mile to find things that are wrong with these other people? And you're ruining things that may be beneficial for the people of the city. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Chuck has a vendetta. Chuck doesn't like to lose. He's lost against Mike Prince. He lost Axe. And in that process, he wants to take down Mike Prince, no matter what collateral damage, comes into play. And I think Dave's not liking what she's seeing.
I mean, let's be real. When Dave came in, she was enthusiastic about catching criminals because that was her passion. And now we're seeing that the stuff that Chuck is going after isn't criminals per se in her traditional sense, right? These aren't people that are committing egregious crimes and things of that nature. These are people that are trying to have their way, but also making the city a little bit better. So it's a win-win. And she's questioning, like you said, she's questioning
Chuck's intentions.
Chuck's motives.
Yeah.
Yeah, why are we doing this? Why, if there's nothing on this guy, then let's do some real district attorney work. Let's do some real good guy, bad guy work. You
Do
know?
you think that when this show ends, when the dust has settled, that Dave is the one that ends up with Chuck's job when we taking Chuck down?
Possibly. I think that's definitely a possibility of what can happen because Chuck, he's also skirting those lines, right? He's also playing in the gray area, and going after using the office's funds to go after technicalities and things that don't necessarily work for the betterment of the people of New York, right? Even the governor said, "Give it a break because this works for the city. Let it go."
Talking about a break, it looks like the break between Chuck and Wendy may be coming to an end because we are seeing the signs of a rekindled love
What are
or
your thoughts? Do you
relationship.
think Chuck and Wendy are getting back together? I don't think so. What do you think, Ace?
I think they are because before Axe left, the show was moving in that direction. Was Axe and Wendy,
Yeah.
which was, let's keep it real. This was being teased from episode 1 of season 1. Like the Chuck, the Axe and Wendy has some kind of platonic
Exactly.
relationship, and with Axe exiting the show, now what are we left with? Is that I think she needs a partner and it has to be one of the major players. We already paired Mike Prince with his ex-wife Andy. So I think having her eventually find her way back to Chuck, I think is the right way to get
So
in this
here,
things.
here's the conundrum, right? Because if you're a sucker for love, you may want to see them get back together. However, how does this work out? Because they are both on polar opposites of this situation. The Olympics, no Olympics. So are you going to sleep with the enemy? Like, are you, how
She
would
did
you?
it for many years.
She did it for many years, but I don't think it's been this. It was visceral
It was
with
very
Axe.
visceral.
Yeah, but it was, you knew what Axe was doing or whatever. This is different because the lines were already drawn. So now we're going to cover up the lines and get back
But let's keep
together.
it
I don't
real.
know if that
If
works.
she was able to do it when she has such a loyalty to Axe and love for Axe, right?
Yeah.
And she was able to keep and maintain that line being with Chuck.
Yeah.
Now with Mike Prince, I don't think she's gonna have the same level of loyalty and commitment that she had to Axe to Mike Prince. Let's keep it real on that.
I agree with you. I don't think it's that. I think it's independence. She got her independence from Chuck, and I think that she may not give it back again. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. I'm gonna disagree just
Okay.
because I think the main thing they made him break up was the whole dominatrix lifestyle that Chuck liked and that she was tired of,
Yeah.
and I think there's something there. Well, let's see how that plays out in the coming weeks with the show. Now, that's not the only love that's in the air.
Go on. What else happened?
Mike Prince and his ex-wife seem to be rekindling. The show started with them in the bedroom, ends with them in a bedroom as well. But
But
the same team remains from the
from the breakup.
from the breakup. So at the beginning of the episode, Andy mentions that you did say that if the Olympics were in Prague, you still would travel and work from there, not necessarily to bring all these conveniences to make it easy for you. I want you to put the effort, and then the show ends the same way. When even after Mike thinking he got everything he wanted, it should be a done deal. Like, hey girl, let's back up, move in. She goes, no. And
Going
there's
to
nothing
Denver.
deal. I'm gonna go to Colorado to train,
Yep.
and you should come to me, and you should put the effort because I am that gold medal, I am that prize, and we see that Mike wants to climb that mountain, gives her a kiss at the end, but let's see where that goes because Mike is not getting everything that he wants, and like Chuck says, the worst thing than getting something that you wanted is having that taken from you.
Yeah.
That could be devastating for Mike.
And sort of this is sort of like a reoccurring theme that I think happens in this particular episode where people are forced to choose sides. He has to choose. Mike has to choose his ex-wife and follow her to Denver and make it work in his schedule. Wendy had to choose a side, and so did Chuck. Even when they were about to arrest the liaison to the Olympics, Wendy encounters Chuck, and she says, "You're on the winning team for once. Come and celebrate." He said, "No, I'm gonna stay on my side." And also, Kate had to choose which side she was going to be on once and for all. So she's not on the fence on this one. She chose.
She chose a while back.
Yeah, she chose. Well, she chose not to lose.
She chose. I mean, you see there. You have Mike's side, you have Chuck's side, and then the lines
remember,
are.
last
lines are
episode, Chuck said, "Come back because you don't want to be on the wrong side of this thing and get arrested." So she
doubled
chose
down.
Mike Prince. She's making sure that she doesn't get caught. She doesn't get caught up in it. So there's a lot of people, lines are drawn, and they're picking sides in this particular episode. And I think that sets up something big to happen in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the next episode is gonna be very interesting. I think we're coming up to a close.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be action packed. A lot of storylines are gonna just be completed. It's gonna be finalized, and we're gonna see where everything's gonna end up. I'm excited to see that.
Let us know what your thoughts on this episode were. Happy to hear from you. If you gotten this far, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. We will be back for episode 8. Until then, I am E, this is H, and we are
Unstructured.
That's right.